Italy, known for its history, food and fast cars, now faces an existential question.
Is Islam incompatible with European culture?
With rising immigration and dwindling birth rates, is Islam reshaping the nation once again? Welcome to Living History. Modern-day Italy is home to an estimated 2.6 million Muslims, accounting for about 4.8% of the total population. This number has been steadily rising, fueled by immigration and natural growth, leading to a noticeable demographic shift. Regions like Lombardy, Emilia-Romagna, and Sicily have witnessed particularly notable expansions of Muslim communities, challenging the traditional cultural landscape. But why is this happening now? Well, to be fair, it is not the first time Italy is facing an Islamic surge. You see, the arrival of the Saracens in the 9th century marked the beginning of a transformative era for southern Italy and Sicily. After all, they weren't just tourists in search of the best gelato. These North African Arabs invaded and settled, bringing art, science, architecture, and of course Islam to Italian shores. In many ways, Sicily became the bridge between East and West, creating vibrant trade networks that connected the Mediterranean world with North Africa and the Middle East. But of course, this would not last. You see, the Crusades shifted the balance, allowing Italian city-states like Venice and Genoa to emerge as maritime powers, leading to a centuries-long retreat of Islamic influence. Fast forward to today, and Italy finds itself at a familiar crossroads, with history echoing through its streets. Islamic communities, once fading into history, are now reasserting themselves in ways that are both impactful and undeniable. With Muslims making up nearly 5% of the population, their presence is no longer a mere footnote, it's a headline. This isn't just about numbers, it's about the shifting dynamics of a nation that's wrestling with its identity. In cities like Milan, Islamic culture is becoming woven into the fabric of daily life, with mosques expanding, halal markets thriving, and Islamic holidays gaining visibility. But this resurgence isn't just cultural, it's political too. Muslim communities are more organized and vocal, pushing back against restrictive laws and advocating for their rights in a country that's not always eager to embrace change. This resurgence is more than a demographic trend. It's reshaping Italy in ways that are making some Italians uneasy and sparking a wave of cultural pushback. So, what about public opinion? Muslim immigrants play a crucial role in filling labor shortages in sectors like agriculture and services. However, despite their contributions, the unemployment rate among Muslims remains significantly higher than the national average. This disparity not only reflects economic challenges, but also underscores deeper integration issues within Italian society. In fact, a 2021 OECD report revealed that only 35% of Italians believe that Muslims are well integrated into society, a clear indicator of the ongoing struggle for social cohesion. The ISTAT, Italian National Institute of Statistics, went further in 2022, reporting that 40% of Muslim immigrants feel socially isolated, largely due to cultural barriers and discrimination. These figures aren't just numbers. They paint a picture of communities grappling with acceptance in a country known for its deep-rooted traditions and cultural pride. But hey, nothing says 2024 like a healthy dose of cultural gatekeeping, right? The influx of Muslim residents isn't merely a demographic shift, it's a cultural flashpoint. As Italy's cities and towns see increasing numbers of Muslim immigrants, many Italians experience a kind of cultural whiplash. The rapid changes in their neighborhoods can spark unease and fuel tensions, particularly in regions where traditional values run deep. This cultural friction has led to a rise in xenophobic rhetoric and political movements that capitalize on these fears, further polarizing Italian society. These tensions have manifested in protests across the country, with both anti-immigrant and pro-immigrant demonstrators taking to the streets. On one side, there have been rallies organised by far-right groups protesting what they perceive as the erosion of Italian culture and demanding stricter immigration controls. These protests often highlight the fear that the growing Muslim population will lead to a loss of national identity. On the other side, pro-immigrant protests have also gained momentum, with activists and local communities rallying in support of immigrant rights and integration. The tension is palpable in everyday interactions, where the struggle for integration meets resistance from segments of the population that feel their way of life is under threat. The challenges of cultural integration are therefore not just about economics or employment, but about the very identity of modern Italy. Critics argue that these rapid demographic changes could undermine Italy's social norms. The fear becomes palpable. As Italy's Muslim population grows, so too does the concern that the nation's charm, traditions, and way of life are at risk. But what about the future? For many Italians, the future looks uncertain, with the debate over immigration likely to intensify as these demographic shifts continue. The Muslim population in Italy is projected to nearly double by 2050, rising from about 4.8% today to 8.3%, according to demographic studies. This shift in the population landscape is already fueling concerns among many Italians. A 2020 study by the University of Bologna revealed that over 40% of Italians hold xenophobic attitudes, particularly directed at Muslim immigrants, a sentiment that is steadily growing alongside the population itself. Moreover, immigration, both legal and illegal, continues to dominate the conversation. Italy's proximity to North Africa continues to make it a key entry point for migrants. The influx of illegal immigrants, many of whom are Muslim, has exacerbated tensions, with many Italians fearing the loss of jobs, cultural identity, and the potential strain on public resources. This anxiety is further compounded by the portrayal of Muslims in the Italian media, which often focuses on extremist acts or controversies, feeding a narrative of fear and suspicion. Historical context adds another layer to these modern challenges. Italy's past, marked by conflicts with the Islamic world during the Crusades and later encounters with the Ottoman Empire, still lingers in the collective memory. These historical grievances often blend with current events, shaping a narrative that sees Islam as both a past adversary and a present danger. And this is particularly obvious when it comes to Italian politics. Take, for instance, the battle over the construction of a mosque in Pisa, which turned into a full-blown political drama in 2020. Muslim leaders weren't just asking politely, they were challenging local governments head-on, calling out the hypocrisy of a country that prides itself on religious freedom, but balks at the idea of a mosque in its backyard. And then there's the electoral influence. In regions with significant Muslim populations, these communities are mobilizing like never before. Forget passive voting. They're strategically throwing their weight behind candidates who champion immigration reform and social justice. In fact, in some local elections, Muslim votes have tipped the scales, sending a clear message: ignore us at your peril. However, this growing influence has sparked a strong backlash, especially from far-right parties like Lega Nord, which have seized the moment to rally against immigration and Islamic practices. These parties have shifted the national conversation, framing increased immigration as a threat to Italy's security, cultural identity, and economic stability. According to a 2021 survey by CIR, around 60% of Italians favour stricter immigration controls, reflecting widespread concerns. Lega Nord has been particularly vocal, pushing for policies that directly target Muslim communities and curtail religious freedoms. Ironically, the volatile political landscape of today echoes the complex alliances and rivalries of medieval times. As Italy wrestles with the integration of Muslim communities, history seems to be repeating itself. Only this time, the battles are fought in parliament and public opinion, not on the battlefield. But Italy isn't the only country struggling with the resurgence of its Islamic past. To find out about how Islam is impacting Spain, check out our next video, linked here.